You'll never guess what kind of skin this is. If he gets it right, the king would marry his beloved princess to him. The man looked up and down at the huge hide. Then he came close and stroked it. He pulls a hair from the skin, and the answer seemed to come to him. He said happily that it was a boar's hair. The king said it wasn't. The second man was a bit more professional. He pulled out a magnifying glass and examined it. The princess was worried. She was afraid of being recognized by this old man, and the man's answer was snakeskin. The princess looked to her father, and the king said no. The princess felt more at ease. Then a number of people came to look at it, but none of them recognized the skin of the animal. The king was proud of himself, but then an ugly savage came up. Because he had lived in the wild for a long time, he knew it was flea skin by the smell of his nose. The king was flabbergasted that anyone could recognize it. But how could a flea have such a big skin? It all started a few days ago. A beautiful princess was playing a song in the hall. A flea suddenly jumped into the king's hand. No matter how much the king slapped it, the flea would reappear. It seemed to be playing with the king. The king became interested. He didn't even care that the princess was playing, so he just clapped his hands and left. The king returned to his chambers and studied the fleas. He fed the fleas with his own blood. He even prepared a luxurious villa for the fleas. He began to lose interest in his work. He made toys for the fleas every day. The king kept a flea as a pet, and made him a little tricycle. He gave the flea an hour of exercise every day after dinner. Soon a few years passed. The flea had grown to the size of a dog. A big plate of steak was quickly devoured in front of him, but the food was too good. It wasn't long before the flea died of obesity. The king held his beloved pet in his arms and grieved. He held a 7-day vigil for him, in memory of his beloved pet. He took the flea's skin off as a souvenir, and the princess was old enough to get married. She asked for a handsome man. The king agreed readily. Then he took out his own collection. He proclaimed that whoever could recognize the skin would be betrothed to the princess. The announcement was made. All the young men came to the scene, but no matter how they looked at it, they couldn't recognize the skin of any animal, until a savage appeared, and recognized it with a single sniff. Though the king was not pleased with the marriage, but for the sake of his authority and credibility, he let the wildling take the princess away. The wildling took the princess up the mountain and up the cliff to his luxurious villa.